Hiroshima, Japan, 6th of August 1945, 8:15 a.m. It's a lovely summer's morning. The streets are full of people going to work, people going to shop, children going to school. The air raid siren sounds, but no one runs. No one goes to shelter. There is only a single aircraft in this enemy raid. The aircraft steers a course across the city. Above the centre, something falls, and then there is a sudden searing flash of light, hotter and brighter than 1,000 suns. In the streets below, people vanish, utterly consumed in the furnace of the flash. There are no ashes, even on the pavement. Nothing but shadows, X-rayed on the stones. Then the blast. For 2 kilometres in all directions, every building is levelled to the ground. Lorries, vans, animals, men, women, babies, prams are picked up and hurled like bullets, hundreds of feet through the air. Then fireballs, swept by tornado winds, become a single firestorm, and tens of thousands of people are trapped by walls of flame hundreds of feet high, and everything goes black. The mushroom cloud rises to the very vault of heaven.
American and British armed forces have chaplains and priests to administer to the spiritual welfare of their personnel. A 42-year-old Roman Catholic priest and member of the United States Air Force, a chaplain called Father George Zabelka, gave the pilots and the crew of the planes that dropped their bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki a Christian blessing before they took off on those fateful days in August 1945. Over the years, Father Zabelka came to believe that he had made a terrible mistake by lending moral and religious support to what he called one of the greatest terrorist acts in Christian history. On the 40th anniversary of the bombings, he spoke these words.
Now, brothers and sisters, on this, the 40th anniversary of this terrible atrocity carried out by Christians, I must be the first to say I made a terrible mistake. I was had by the father of lies. I was there and I was wrong. Yes, war is hell, and Christ did not come to justify the creation of hell on earth by his disciples. The ethics of mass butchery cannot be found in the teaching of Jesus. In just war ethics, no appeal is made to him or his teaching, because no appeal can be made to him or his teachings. For neither he nor his teaching gives standards for Christians to follow in order to determine what level of slaughter is acceptable.
I was 18 when the atom bomb dropped, and I became a victim of radiation from it. My life of one operation after another began a few years later. For many years, my physical pain became more and more excruciating.
I was 27 when I was bombed in Hiroshima.
I never knew my husband's family because they all died from the atomic bomb. None of them survived. None of them. I had cancer operations when I was 23, and then 26, then 28.
I think it's quite incredible that you can watch all that footage, and even just, you only have to read an account from a witness to see how horrifying the devastation of the event.
People completely forget about the past wars because they've got their own present lives to think about, and they're too caught up with that. They don't look back into the past and think, right, let's learn from mistakes.
We can still see the repercussions of Hiroshima and the devastation it caused, yet we're still using nuclear weapons, and we're still spending money on developing more ways to kill people with nuclear weapons.
When scientists first split the atom, it marked a new period in human history. Humankind had found an awesome destructive power. when the two American B-29 bombers supported by Britain dropped their atomic bombs in 1945, nearly 250,000 people were killed, mostly civilians. Since then, over the years, thousands more have died and continue to die from leukemia and other terrible cancers. There are many different theories as to why the Allies dropped a bomb on Hiroshima and then 3 days later on Nagasaki. But one thing is sure, the world has never been the same since. Globally, there has been a huge expansion in the proliferation and the power of nuclear technology since Hiroshima, and today the United States, Russia, France, China, Israel, Britain, India, Pakistan and North Korea possess nuclear weapons, and Belgium, Germany, Greece, Holland, Italy and Turkey, as well as Britain, have American nuclear weapons based on their soil. Britain's nuclear capability, although the Americans control the systems which guide them, is known as Trident. 4 nuclear-armed submarines, each with 48 nuclear warheads, each warhead 8 times the explosive power of the bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima. Britain's nuclear capability alone is, today, the equivalent of 1,536 Hiroshimas. Ultimately, the decision to unleash these horrors again rests with our leaders. But how can we have real security in the 21st century if that security is based on the existence of weapons of mass destruction? How can young people be persuaded to cast aside a culture of violence when they know that it is on the threat of extreme violence that we rely for security?
We have to make sure that it's our views that are being heard as well, because we're going to have to be the politicians and like of the future, and it's only us that are going to be able to change that in the future.
It's one thing possessing these weapons, but it's another thing, when do our leaders justify using them, given the most devastating consequences that they've already reaped on the world?
The old way of fighting, slaughtering, dominating for selfish gain of resources and territory is no longer possible. With nuclear, biochemical, and Star War weapons, wars can only escalate to the total annihilation of our world. It's not a choice of violence or non-violence, it's a choice of non-violence or non-existence.
The survivors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki ask only one thing, that we work for total peace. I think we owe it to them, and we maybe even owe it to ourselves.
100,000 people were living their lives. Grandparents, children, fathers and wives. Now they're just shadows on the street in such a quick burst of incredible heat. Now listen to them talk about doing it again. From whence came the souls of these terrible men? Hiroshima. 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 Hiroshima.
I came here to say that human beings have made a mistake in developing nuclear weapons. Our suffering should serve as a testament that the world should never again be devastated by the atomic bomb.